Behold, the legendary SansAmp Classic. I've always loved the sound of these things. I finally got one after many years, and I think at one time I had up to 5 of them. And frequently, something will go wrong inside of these little wafers. You know, and that's the original SansAmp circuit. And it sounds great, but there's no way in the world to repair these. I was able to get a replacement board like this from the manufacturer. They've redesigned it slightly. I don't think they put this black goop in here anymore. So I was able to get those apart and take a look at the different values that go into the circuit. Now, as I'm sure as everybody else has done that's made a clone of the SansAmp Classic, you have downloaded some version of this schematic, and it's pretty close. There's plenty of wiggle room to adjust values, and there was some suggestions about which values to use. But when I got the repair circuit from Tech 21, I was able to reverse engineer it. They've changed the technology. I could separate the wafers, and I could look inside and see what some of these values actually were. It wasn't easy, but time and patience. And I've tried to upload my updated version of the schematic. I've tried to upload it to the same forum and the same place that I found the original one. For the life of me, I can't get it to work. But I did want to point out a couple of things that were a little bit different. Now, I redrew this bias circuit, and even I don't make them like that anymore. These are like Zener diodes, or maybe Schottky diodes. Regardless, I leave them out anyway. I've seen people say, well, they don't do anything. Well, actually, yeah, they do. Since they have a reverse breakdown voltage at a certain level, it's pretty much keeping this bias voltage set at a certain level. I don't worry about that. I let just the resistor network and a capacitor do the job of setting that bias. The rest of this stuff I've left as is. Switching stuff is still the same. The main differences come in this first amplifier section. Most notably, that is a 10 nanofarad capacitor. Not saying that everyone in the world is, but that seemed correct based on what I saw. This is a 1K resistor. In the original version that I saw, it's a 100. Okay, so there it is as 1K, and up here it's 100. So that's different. And what else? Notice this after switch 2, that 1K. In the revised version, that is a 4.7K. All right, so those 3 resistor values are different than the version that I got off the internet. The rest of the circuit, these second order filters were the same all the way through. And then here in the last section, I used a 4N7 there. Again, yeah, the capacitors don't have numbers on them, so it's a matter of removing them, and I didn't do that. So that seemed to sound the closest to the original. And one other thing I did, I may be talking sacrilege here, but I replaced the FET with a regular old 3904 transistor and no difference. Okay, actually what that does, these two circuits with the FET or with the what is it, NPN, oh gosh, I've forgotten my transistor shorthand. Anyway, whether it's the FET or if it's just the regular transistor, by changing that one component out, it makes this frighteningly close to the TS-808 tube screamer. And I thought, well, that's kind of badass. Putting the front end of a tube screamer into the Classic SansAmp with the modified values. It's its own thing, but it sounds remarkably close to the original SansAmp. Take a quick look. Now, in the course of repairing this, I did have a extremely tiny circuit board made up, and it's not the same layout as the revised SansAmp, but it is the same kind of footprint. So, and the input board of this particular one is complete toast. So, what I've done, I'm gonna have to pause this a little bit so I can readjust. So, since this input board was also not working, it's been removed. What I did here, I built the tube screamer, the tube screamer version of the input buffer here on the breadboard, and guitar signal goes in, the buffered signal comes out and goes straight into there. So it sounds good. And if I can find a way to hold this thing up, I can give you an example. Plugging in my junky cigar box guitar here. Start everything off here first. Set everything at 12 o'clock. There, that's the effect off. So now you're just hearing the TS-808 buffer over here, and it's going straight through. So that's my clean. There, effect is back on. Let's go through some of these character switches. Let's see. There's the two mid boost. Some close miking. One of my favorite settings for this, and this is the reason why I love these things. Yeah, the Vox setting on this. Turn down a little there it is. Nothing original in the SansAmp whatsoever, except for the stomp switch and for the LED. All the rest of this stuff has been, well, the plasticky knobs, but everything else has been replaced. And to my ears, it sounds as good as the real SansAmps. Anyway, let me know what you think.